One of the most important parts of shaping our future is what's our question about the future. We're going to keep referring back to that question as we go through the process. It's going to be the thing that will help us make some decisions later on about what are the things that you think you want to know about the future over the long term.
Family. Family and friends.
How important will my family and friends be in my life?
Will racism still be a factor?
Shaping our future really helps extend teenagers' thinking beyond what they're going to have for lunch tomorrow or what they're going to do next week to think about the implications of the choices that they make today and help them see that they have choices, but their choices have certain outcomes.
Will there be like a whole new set of jobs, like jobs we know now, they don't even do this no more?
Yeah. But before I did this, mostly I just thought about, as far as my future, it's pretty much just my college major. That's probably as far as I went. We started talking about family. Never really thought about a family before. Never thought about past 2005.
What about a religion?
What type of religion will I follow or have?
And the main question that we're trying to answer is, what decisions can I make to create a better quality of life for me, my family, and my community in the next 10 years?
Now we're identifying driving forces. The driving force is some impact that you see going on in the world today that you think is going to shape where the future is headed. You're going to spend a fair amount of time looking at driving forces in 5 areas: social, technological, economic, environmental, and political.
As teenagers, I think we don't tend to understand what other things are going on right now, and we just tend to learn what they're giving us to learn. And this project made us go over that, and all this research is more information for us, and it just helped us in understanding life.
Your community, environment,
Family.
Health, career,
education.
They all come together to make us a quality of life.
What we want you to do is to think about which direction you think that driving force is headed. Is it increasing, or do you think it's decreasing?
Whatever you see on the news, it is now. Before, I just thought, well, this is just what happened yesterday. But now it's more like, this is what happened yesterday, but how is that going to affect us in the future?
The first one we have is religion.
I'm glad that I did this because it helped me realize the importance of teamwork. We had a chance to learn about each other. We had an opportunity to take leadership roles and just get out there and show a lot of people that we can do most of the things that adults can do. We're dealing with environmental issues. And what we did was divide it into subcategories. We have pollution, health, global warming, overpopulation, and overuse of resources.
Pollution is like the big concern right now.
What we mean by certain driving forces are driving forces that you think, based on what you know and what you feel, will be true over the next 10 years. Uncertain driving forces are driving forces that you think might change. They might not be true 10 years from now. All right, first one. Increasing difficulty meeting social needs. How many think it's certain? All right, this one's about warfare.
I think that this experience has helped me personally because when I think about other people that did have this experience, they don't think like us, Now we're exposed and we know how to look at things a little bit differently.
Give a little thought to these certain and uncertain driving forces, and you pick the top 3 in each group.
When you see different people's viewpoints, it tends to change your viewpoint also. I mean, you might have a set mind that, one thing can be only done one way. But once you hear other people's opinions and views, you tend to think about it a little bit, and your views do change.
Here's what you came up with in the uncertainties. Top 4. The quality of health care was the number 1 uncertainty. Number 2 was global warming. Number 3 is school violence. And number 4 is acceptance of individuality. The next step is to start thinking about what the implications are. And for that, we use the future wheel.
On the positive side, if you have more self-confidence, then you're more emotionally stable, and that leads to you think more clearly about everything.
As 18-year-olds, they're having to think about the future, and I don't think that's something they traditionally do in the sense that it's this structured, that there are people there who have been trained to help students pull out of themselves what they think the future is.
If a decrease in healthcare quality happens, what does that mean for life?
There's a decrease in lifespan.
Mm-hmm. We all have ideas, and we all have this. It's not the same future, but where we go is going to be the same place. And to fix that is to become one, not just, oh, she's not the same skin color as I am, I shouldn't be talking to her. That's not right, because we are the same. I feel really accepted now.
The decrease in the quality of the healthcare and health insurance. Jennifer's going to tell you about the cost, increase in costs.
I've seen a general maturing of the class and beginning to look at life in an adult sense. It's almost like I walked into the room with 23 teenagers yesterday morning, and now I feel like we're dealing with 23 young adults.
The negative effects of more independence could be the rebellion against society, like breaking the laws.
Today we're going to start to think about what are the 2 most important uncertainties to you. We'll use our top 2 uncertainties to define our 4 scenario spaces.
I'm not that uncertain about it because I think it's going to go down because there'll probably be a rise in population and there won't be enough Medicare for all the people in the world. We got to run with it and come up with our own ideas and come up basically with the whole project by ourselves. It makes me feel more independent, being able to work on a big project like this and get it accomplished.
School violence, we gave it an 8 because we're not certain about how school violence will be in 10 years.
I think it's just been an eye-opening experience. If nothing else, they've spent 2 days realizing that they're not just this one little person out here, but that we're all connected.
But in 10 years from now, people's viewpoints might change, and people might believe things differently, and so we're very uncertain on how people will be accepted with their individuality.
So our top 2 uncertainties that we agreed on were school violence and acceptance of individuality. So that gives us the names of our 2 axes. So we're going to use these 2 axes to define our 4 scenario spaces.
When you think about the quality of life, you know what you want and you know what direction you want to go in, and you think about those decisions much more carefully and what kind of decisions you have to make.
Any other ideas?
What'd you put?
We got to write stories on what we would think was going to happen in the future. And just the creativity part of it was something that I think excited many people. And it was just a good way to tie everything that we've been doing together.
A prize for freedom. Okay.
When you see everything written down, you say, hey, you know, this is real. This is my future, you know, this may happen.
Okay, just make it easy. Safety first.
We also did an article on individualism on the rise again, and it discusses how people are more focused on their career and their lives rather than making a family.
I think we do have an opportunity to shape our future. When we think of the bad things that might happen, we can prevent that. And when it comes to good things, we can look forward to it.
If you're wanting to do something, you want to make change, you want to bring about change, and you put your mind to it, I think anyone can do anything.
Now I feel like I have more power because I get to decide this is what I want to do to change the future.
They're going to remember this story, and they're going to remember this experience as something they can point back to and say, oh yeah, you know, we talked about that 20 years ago, and here it is. I look around and I see these things happening in my life.